ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering to qualified buyers a maximum discount of $13,176. This offer is good on all 2024 XC90s in stock, $13,176. Plus, the Cherry Hill Volvo 2024 model year sell down. Pricing and attention to detail here is not to be missed. Volvo should be on your shopping list now. This is the time to purchase from Cherry Hill Volvo.
The forecast for hot summer weather should come as no surprise. And the forecast for high energy costs shouldn't either. PJ Fitzpatrick has a great plan to cool your electric bill. Replace your leaky old windows with energy-efficient and budget-friendly insulated windows. The PJ Fitzpatrick team, voted best of Philly, has replaced hundreds of thousands of windows. And they've earned thousands of 5-star reviews. Call today and save thousands on your windows and electric bill. Visit trustpj.com today for a free window consultation.
This is Len Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you are never involved in an accident, we mean it. But if you're injured in an accident, we will work quickly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And when we also say it won't cost you a dime up front, we mean it. Remember our name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Good morning, good Friday morning. Let's talk about DJT. So last night, great event in Delaware County in media. Some great guests for you today. Want to hear from you. Do you think the GOP is ready? The Democrats predicting this Kamala new energy. Oh, and I'm not supposed to call her Kamala because, you know, she's Madam Vice President. So we've talked a lot about the media bias, but this as, you know, Vice President Kamala Harris, who is now the best thing since I don't know what, the media went from criticizing her, saying that she was doing poorly in the polls, saying that she was weak, and now, well, she's the best, right? And this is what Democrats do. The media is always complicit, as I say. But Vice President Kamala Harris, make no mistake, the Democrats, they are mobilized, they are in line, they are organized, and this is what they do. So they've announced this extensive mobilization effort, and they're focusing in this weekend. This tells you a lot. Focusing in on Pennsylvania this weekend, and then leading up to this biggity big Monday rally that they're putting out there featuring Governor Josh Shapiro, as well as another governor, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. So yes, U.S. Senator Bob Casey. See, now he will appear with Kamala. He usually, Senator Casey, who Rich Scioli called, you know, the cicada Casey, the lesser Casey, as he called him, his father, the late, great Casey, he's not his father. And so as far as Casey, you can expect him to have a higher profile role in these events now, as you didn't see him speaking as much at Biden events. And also, where was Biden campaigning? When Biden campaigned, he would speak for a few minutes in and out. But now we're seeing the Veep, Kamala Harris, as she is making stops across Pennsylvania. And that starts tomorrow morning with not just Kamala, but also with the Democrats trying to mobilize this effort. So Senator Bob Casey, you know that Republican Dave McCormick, military veteran, successful businessman, McCormick is giving him a run for his money, but McCormick is still behind in the polls. So Casey will be there in Montgomery County. That's tomorrow for a volunteer canvassing kickoff. Governor Shapiro, the headliner at the event in Cumberland County, that's tomorrow morning. And then the Harris campaign holding news conferences and all kinds of news conferences across the country with leaders from the local leaders, Democrats here in Philadelphia, also in Harrisburg, also in Erie, and they're also today in Pittsburgh and in Scranton. So this is full press, full court press, as we say. President Joe Biden, obviously, think about this. Joe Biden, Sunday afternoon, not even a week ago. And if you think this was not planned and coordinated, well, I've got some swampland in Florida to tell you. President Joe Biden announced this on Sunday of this week, Sunday afternoon, no less. And you're telling me that this is all just, wow, look at the energy and everybody's coming together. To me, it's a lie. There's no way that he made this sudden announcement on Sunday, and then all of a sudden they raise more than $100 million. They apparently have a war chest of more than $250 million. That's the number we're getting, all behind Vice President Kamala Harris, who wants to be your next president of the United States of America. How does that, as Trump always says, how does that sound? 855-839-1210. I don't buy it at all. And there are these challenges in court to say, no, not so fast. And challenges as far as transferring that money from the Biden campaign. Obviously, there are laws, campaign laws that they have to abide by. So many people watching that, I've talked yesterday and this week about the various lawsuits that are being filed and that are already filed, talking about that. So Harris receiving the support from enough delegates to clinch the party's official nomination. That is planned, we're told, during a virtual roll call vote that is slated for next week. Looks like August 1st, but that's next week, obviously. And as far as Whitmer and Shapiro, they are considered to be on the short list. That's what we're hearing as Harris's vice president. Although Whitmer has said, oh, heavens, no, I have no plans to seek higher office. That's what they've all said. Shapiro, as you know, we've told you, has not yet submitted paperwork. That's what we're hearing, has not submitted the paperwork for the VP vetting process. So we're hearing conflicting reports on that one. So, Pennsylvania, what are the numbers? So the Harris campaign, this is what they've said. They say they have more than 100,000 volunteers who have signed up to join the campaign nationwide, including more than 4,000 so far in Pennsylvania who have signed up for this weekend's event. More than 8,000 people, they say, signed up online to join the campaign in Pennsylvania since Harris announced her campaign, and that was last Sunday evening. These are the numbers from the Democrats, from their campaign. That's what they claim they have. And they also, the campaign, 200 staffers, 36 coordinated offices across Pennsylvania. The reason I'm giving you the numbers specifically is they are serious about Pennsylvania because they know that they need and want our 19 electoral votes. We talk about the map all the time. And so Pennsylvania, we still are considered, by all accounts, a toss-up state. Wisconsin, also a toss-up, but only 10 compared to our 19. Michigan, 15, still not as good or as much as Pennsylvania's 19. That's why we're seeing Trump here. I mean, he's coming Wednesday, as I just announced on Kale & Company. He'll be here in Harrisburg. The doors open 2 p.m. This is the Harrisburg Farm Show grounds. And I know that Secret Service, you can bet that they have some very big men there guarding the president, and no more problems, no more lapses in security, whatever you think happened there. But of all the toss-up states, Arizona 11, Nevada 6. I agree with what Greg said earlier. I think Nevada, and what Sean Ferris said earlier. I think Trump, I think he will win Nevada, but that's 6 points. Arizona 11, but Pennsylvania still has the most when we talk about how many, when you look at I don't know if you've gone to 270towin.com, and they have an interactive map looking at the electoral votes. So right now on their site, the Democrats have 226 electoral votes. The Republicans are ahead at 251. And when we talk about polls, and I know people say, oh, the national polls, they don't really matter. Look at the state by state. But this is the only one that matters, right? The tangible numbers. Right now, they have Georgia leaning red, all of the South either leaning, North Carolina and Georgia leaning red, and pretty much the rest of the South and Florida all going red. Texas, obviously red. You ever notice this? The center of the country, all red. But California with 54 electoral votes. Wow. So the left coast, as we call it, the left coast, the East Coast, shoring this up with the blue, the middle of the country red. And there are some who say New Jersey, that would be incredible. New Jersey with 14 electoral votes. I mean, that would make history if somehow they went red. As of right now, they're going blue. Okay. New York, 28 electoral votes, deep blue. This is what's on the map. And Virginia leaning to the blue with 13. So these are the numbers, but Pennsylvania in play, and certainly we're the biggest number on that map that right now is considered a toss-up. That's why Pennsylvania is so critical, and that's why the Democrats today, as I say, they're here tomorrow. And by the way, you know who was in Pennsylvania yesterday campaigning? This was the wife of somebody we've talked about, Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. But his wife, who is Jewish, Gabby Giffords, remember, she was in the news, and probably a bigger name. Even though her husband is a senator, her husband was an astronaut, military veteran, kind of a more macho, manly man, if you will. Maybe they want those optics next to the first female woman president. Maybe they like that. And he's somebody who was in a red state as a Democrat who has done well. But she was here. His wife was here yesterday as, she's somebody who suffered and nearly died and overcame, that shooting that was in the news and in the headlines. She was campaigning here, and she's a good campaigner for sure. So we'll talk about all of it. 855-839-1210, the number to call, taking your calls. Ed, good morning. Hey, Ed, good morning. Maybe we're
Going is super neat. And one day I can't wait to meet.
Thanks, Ed. Happy Friday.
Hey, you're welcome. Hey, all I can tell you is, and I bet you agree, I cannot wait for this election to be over. And here's my real big concern. I think Trump is going to win, and I believe that the worry for me is the down-ballot races. I hope that he gets a strong conservative Congress, because let me tell you something. If he don't, the whole time he's in there, they're going to be trying to do everything to undermine him, and it'll be ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
just like they did the first term that he had.
Yep. And they undermined, and just go back. I mean, think about the time. This is an incredible timeline, but go back to Trump's presidency. By the way, nobody talks about the fact that Hillary, who talks about it less, but talk about sour grapes and somebody who questioned the election. And we've aired all of those montages, right? With Hillary Clinton, she was so angry after her, we were the deplorables and all of that. But think about the way the Democrats were allowed to question that election, that something went haywire. Hillary was allowed to, on national television, on all of these so-called mainstream media outlets, she was allowed to question the election. And it's ironic to me that they always say, well, who are these, who is Trump to question things? But think about that. Russia. Think about the Steele dossier, what we know now, that was funded, that they all knew, the Democrats knew that there were people in cahoots. They all knew that this Steele dossier, this was we should not call it the Steele dossier. We should call it the dirty dossier. And
yes,
so,
ma'am.
right? And this was a violation.
Listen, she has said so many nasty and rotten things over the years. I'll never forget the first time Bill Clinton was running for president. She was on national TV, and she said, "What do you think I'm going to do? Stay in the White House and bake all day?"
Yes, exactly. You know, speaking of that,
a freaking evil witch on a broom, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's what Bill Clinton likes to say. You going out hunting? And Jimmy Kelly, I'm imitating Jimmy Kelly. We have Clinton here.
How dare you call my wife a witch? Now, let me tell you something
Hey,
right
my
now.
son's very good at Bill Clinton, by the way.
Well, that's good. But you know what? Here's the thing. And you ever call my wife a witch on this radio station again, I will hunt you down. Trust me, I'll hunt you down. Don't ever call my wife a witch.
Yeah, the guy that cheats on her religiously?
Well, hey, look, nothing's ever been proved. Like I said, I've never had relations with that woman. Never.
You mean your wife?
Well,
well, maybe at least one time, because you do have a daughter.
Well, hey, sometimes, we shoot blank, sometimes we don't.
Stop. Jimmy Kelly, Ed, you guys are great together. Hey, listen.
Oh, yes, we are.
We have a great show lined up for you. You're going to hear from a very inspirational lady, mom, educator, former law enforcement officer who's running for office in Delaware County. And she's one of those people that when she speaks, she's so authentic and just off the charts, somebody I want you to meet, somebody you should meet for sure. So we'll talk about her. Also some flashbacks that we have to remember, and that's why I started talking about the dirty dossier, the Steele dossier. You think about that so-called bad phone call that there was nothing illegal about it, in which they used, and remember Vindman, he and his twin, evil twins, now running for office. They're hardcore Democrats, by the way. You think about that phone call, they used that as the impetus to impeach Trump. Remember this whole sham that that was on display. Go back and look at this timeline. My goodness. The persecution, the prosecution, the lies, and then the pandemic, and then the shutdowns and all the lies that went along with that. So, yes, you think about Donald J. Trump and the fact, when I think about him, I think to myself, I have to believe that both sides of the swamp, if you will, the swamp fears him. And I'm talking about those career partisan politicians, not just elected officials, bureaucrats, who fear Trump. And why do they fear him? Why? My theory on all of this, and I'll ask you, 855-839-1210, but my theory about this is, first and foremost, they did not see him coming. The reason that he won and was allowed to win, if you will, is that it was a surprise. They didn't think that he would win. So therefore, they didn't launch all these different attacks on him. And everybody said, oh, the polls say Hillary's going to win. And it's going to be a landslide. And boops, we the people voted for him. We saw what we still see now. An authentic, successful individual who, remember, said that he had donated to Democrats, Republicans, right? He knows the game. He knows inside the game. Comedian, the great Dave Chappelle talked about this. That Trump said, because I've been on the inside. I see both sides. I've donated to all of these different people, referring to really the swamp, if you will. The swamp, those swamp creatures who've profited, and many of them bureaucrats, they fear him. And make no bones about it, they fear him more now than ever. Why? Because they have gone after this man full force since those days of that dirty dossier, since the impeachment, since the disinformation, since the lies, since the weaponization of DOJ and all of these different legal cases. And Teflon Don, he has survived. July 11th, they expected that the convicted, in air quotes, felon would be sentenced July 11th, and they thought, we're going to be done with him. We're going to jail him, gone forever. July 11th, nope, that was overturned, thank God, due to the Supreme Court ruling. Then, a couple days later, after July 11th, July 13th, he didn't dodge the bullet. It took off a chunk of his ear, And that bullet intended for Trump took the life of a great patriot. You think about that. Think about this man and what he has endured. I've never seen anything like it. But I'm telling you, it's why the RNC, the GOP, Republicans are saying join in the volunteer effort in a mass effort, whether that is volunteering to canvass, whether it is to volunteer to be eyes and ears on the ground on Election Day. They need we the people. Because if you think about it, that's all Trump has. Trump has we the people who see the truth, who see the authenticity. And that's really the only thing you can trust. It's us against them. That's it. I don't trust anybody else. I don't trust the media. I am somebody who I always trust. I was like that mom in the Transformers. Oh, well, the government would never lie to us. I don't know who to trust anymore, right, as far as authority. But I do trust you. We have each other's trust. That's why I love going to these events, the Trump Force 47 events. But the Trump team, Trump Force 47, the GOP, whether it's down ticket or to the top of the ticket, they need volunteers. They need you. They need eyes and ears on the ground in a grassroots way to make sure that this upcoming election is fair, it is transparent, it is just. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. You know that I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games. And the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open up the app, dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And during the summer, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. Head over to FanDuel.com/Dom and make the most out of your summer. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT, FanDuel official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. You have to be 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu meeting in Mar-a-Lago face-to-face for the first time in nearly 4 years. Harvey Weinstein hospitalized with COVID-19 and double pneumonia. And Dylan Cease throws the second no-hitter in San Diego Padres history, striking out 9 Nationals along the way.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
This summer, take a trip down memory lane with me and hear from the legends of baseball. I'm Brett Boone from the Brett Boone Podcast. Every week I have a conversation with one of baseball's greats to talk about the glory days and reflect on today's game. Randy Johnson, Pete Rose, Deion Sanders, Jay Buhner, Albert Bell, and Goose Gossage, they've all shared their wisdom with stories of their playing days. To hear who's next, follow and listen to the Brett Boone Podcast on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You can still look great in that bathing suit this summer since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. Within a week of starting, you will notice pounds coming off and you'll feel good too since you are doing it the natural way, quickly and safely. You can still get slimmer this summer and without any shots. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com to lose the weight for good.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Can you imagine the private meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago at the invitation of former President Donald J. Trump? Can you imagine Netanyahu, what he has to say about that disgrace that happened yesterday in our nation's capital? We talked a lot about it, the burning flags, and I talked to people who actually were there yesterday. It's just I'm so ashamed on a world stage to imagine the fact that you had thousands of protesters who were allowed at the Capitol there, and they weren't burning their own flags. Okay, this was not bring your own flag and burn it. No, they took down flags that were there that are property of, we the people, right? They're technically federal property. And so isn't it a crime to vandalize, burn, take down, take over, right? This particular property, these flags. So it's bad enough they're burning a flag. I get it, First Amendment rights, and even though it makes me sick that you can do that in America, but you can. We talked yesterday about the fact that, in places where people burned a pride flag, they got in trouble. They were arrested. You see, when you burn the American flag, not so much. I mean, they did have some arrests, but to date, to this moment, I don't see felony charges. I don't see that they immediately jailed these people. I don't see that they'll be sentenced 15 years. We have people in jail right now for J6 who were hunted down via facial recognition by the FBI. People who did less than the protesters, those anti-Jewish, anti-Israel protesters did at the Capitol this week. And this was ahead of and during the speech and the address of one Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I loved that he called them useful idiots. You can only imagine when he looks around and sees half of all the Democrats who just blew him off. And by the way, Kamala Harris meeting with him, and I know that, they did meet finally, Thursday afternoon, Biden meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister, then Kamala Harris. She did not want the photo op. That's what that was. This is an important moment. Leadership is being in the moment and understanding the importance of that. And so when you look weak in any way, shape, or form, because you know who senses weakness more than anybody else? Terrorists. You look at the terrorists and they think, oh, we're in the heads of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. All they care about is winning this election. So they fear that they're going to anger those voters who are pro-Arab, pro-Palestinian, not necessarily anti-Israel. But they fear all of these voters. They fear that they will lose Dearborn, Michigan. They fear that they will lose Minnesota. I will submit to you that that's a teeny weeny percentage of the electoral vote. It's tiny. And they would respect them more if they just stood up for what they believe in. And by the way, if they just said, if, for example, Kamala Harris said, we're going to get this done. Our goal right now is to forge peace in the Middle East. And by the way, if they had peace, if they had disallowed this from ever happening, and let's take this all the way back, and we don't talk about this enough. Remember, it was Biden. Biden is the one who removed this very group from the terrorist list. That was what Biden did. That was the green light they needed. Trump, not so much. Under the Trump administration, they knew they better not mess with him. This never would have happened. October 7th, what happened never would have happened under former President Trump. They all know that. Think about the weakness that they just... It makes me nauseous to think about that scene yesterday. It's wrong. It's horrible. 855-839-1210. I have so much developing I want to talk about and everything that's happening today here in Pennsylvania, here in Philadelphia, and then beyond all of the national headlines in D.C. We have hearings going out. I want to update you on everything. 855-839-1210, the number to call. We'll take a quick break. Be right back.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-246-0553. 800-246-0553. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-246-0553.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to make your life a little bit easier. Great. Now raise your other hand if you like to be comfortable. Perfect. Now that you have both hands raised, imagine putting on your shoes. And that, folks, right there is your answer to an easier, more comfortable life. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. This is footwear you don't need your hands to put on. They can be raised in the air, and you can just step it and go. Why don't you experience what people can't stop talking about? Life-changing Skechers Slip-ins. Get your Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
Hi, it's John Ashell, the car czar from Colonial Hyundai. Summer is racing by, and while we wish it didn't go so fast, we're speeding things up here at Colonial. We're nearing the finish line of our construction, and Hyundai has challenged us to sell every vehicle in stock before the grand opening. That's 200 vehicles gone by July 31st. To do so, we're offering up to 20% off any new Hyundai in stock every day of July. Also, we're offering the highest trade-in values in the region, even giving you $6,500 for your trade, no matter the condition. Guaranteed. It's the race to 200 cars at Colonial Hyundai, and during this event, we're willing to do whatever it takes to reach the finish line of selling every vehicle in stock. We even have financing as low as 0% for 60 months available. Every new vehicle at Colonial Hyundai comes with America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain, and Hyundai Assurance. Don't get left. Be part of the team as we race to 200 cars sold and save big. Shop us online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com or visit us on Route 30 in Downtown. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai.
Up to 20% off dealer listed price. Includes all rebates and incentives. Offer cannot be combined. Offer ends 8/3. See dealer for more details.
Today we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
Hi, everyone. Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy two, get two free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12 months, same as cash financing, though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-66 6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So finally, our guest will be here momentarily, a great guest who was born in Philadelphia, has such a rich history, worked as a Philadelphia police officer, is an educator, mom, just a great lady. I can't wait for you to meet her. And as well, she is the proud daughter of, some people known as a freedom riders during the civil rights movement in Philadelphia. And so she's somebody who has deep-rooted values and an interesting level of experience in her life. Military, law enforcement background, went on to work in education. And I know that you're going to love her. When I heard her speaking yesterday and had the pleasure of meeting Alfie yesterday, I just thought, oh my goodness, I've got to introduce Alfie to you. I know you're going to love her. I know you're going to support her. And just her message is inspirational, especially on a Friday, right? We do have word this morning, first thing this morning, former President Barack Obama putting out that video that we talked about earlier, but putting out on social media that he and Michelle are endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris. And they put that video out where Kamala put out a video. She got the call. Oh, are you both of you on the line? We talked about it earlier. But they're expected to, officially nominate Harris as the nominee for the Democrats. That looks like it's going to happen August 1st. Okay, so that's next week. That will be official, despite the fact that we do have people saying not so fast, that this did not happen in the proper way. So, and especially following the money trail. So we'll look at that very carefully, and we'll follow all of that for you for sure. Just let me know when Alfie Goodwin calls in. She will be calling in any moment. Yes, I was at this event last night. It was an incredible event there in media. Luckily, the weather broke. So even though it was warm, it was a beautiful night. And we all actually were inside. And at these events, Trump Force 47, it's called, they have, the office there. But at these events, they always have cookies and sodas and goodies, the snacks, the carrots, the water. I try to avoid the cookies because they always have chocolate chip cookies. Yum. But thanks for coming out, seriously, last night. It was a great event and great to be with you and share the fellowship. I think of it as like freedom fighters fellowship. I was trying to think of a word for it, but there is a fellowship and a camaraderie that we share. And I think part of our problem, if it's a problem as conservatives, is that we in a sense, because we just want to accept everybody. In other words, you be you. I respect your opinion. I respect and cherish diversity of thought. The problem here is that in this day and age, the other side, as I say, Democrats, and they're not even Democrats, they're far left progressives now, but they can't debate us. When we talk about the issues, we win every time. So what do? They mudsling. They have to question your integrity. If you're a woman or if you're a person of ethnicity, they have to question you. Well, you can't be fill in the blank, a real woman, a real African American, that sort of thing, because, otherwise you would be a Democrat. So they have to question who you are. They have to lie about you because they don't want to talk about the issues. They want to cancel you out. One person who is a bright light coming to us from Delaware County, this is Alfie Goodwin, wants to be your next Congresswoman from Pennsylvania's 5th District. This is Delco running. This is a tough run against a career politician, Mary Gay Scanlon. Alfie Goodwin, what a pleasure to welcome you to the Dawn Show, to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. I want everybody to know your name and meet you. Good morning.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. And good morning. Yes.
So tell me a little bit about yourself as you had talked yesterday, and everybody, was sort of, because it's chatty. We're sharing fellowship. All of a sudden, Alfie gets to the podium. Nobody's talking. Could have heard a pin drop. And we were outside in the street. I mean, even neighbors were like, coming out listening to you. You have such a great message. Can you just share with us what you're all about, who you are?
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Well, as you said, I am originally from Philadelphia, born and raised, North Philly, and I grew up in the Mount Airy section. I am the youngest of 4 children. What can I say? I have 3 children of my own. They're adult children, and 1 grandbaby. She'll be 5 actually tomorrow. Yeah, and I went into the uniform capacity later in life. Well, considerably, most people or many people join at 18. I joined the Army on 9/11. I was 29 years old. I turned 30 in basic training, and I ended up in 2003, 2004 on a deployment with my oldest brother.
Wow. David?
Yeah, so basically, David, Sergeant First Class David Devon. I did, that deployment was a 16 months, so I did 11 months on the ground, and then I returned home, and I was offered a direct appointment. That was in 2005. And that.
So this is after you. So just to clarify, so this is Alfie after you served with your brother David in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and this was 2003, 2004, and I just want to accentuate some of the things that you're saying because I think it's important that people understand, that you signed up, like so many individuals that are patriots that we hear from. You signed up after 9/11. You were inspired by this. You served with your brother. I know your family was probably worried sick to have brother and sister serving in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Now you come home. So continue on, if you will.
Yes. It was very interesting because on 9/10, I contacted a recruiter, and we made an appointment for the next day, which of course we all know, the tragic a day of 9/11. And he came over, he said, are you sure you still want to do this? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So I signed my initial enlistment application at 2:14 in the afternoon, and I was at the time a private first class. So I was very fortunate. I worked very hard. I promoted to sergeant in 2 years, and here in Pennsylvania is where I was offered a direct appointment as second lieutenant, and that was in 2005.
Thank you for your service. Now, you've gone on to serve many different roles, including chaplain for the military police, National Guard, and as well then you have gone on to higher education, a master's and a PhD in public policy from Walden University, and your specialty here, terrorism, mediation, and peace. That's the title of that, which God knows we need in this day and age. And you had said also your master, part of that was the study at the Theological Seminary in Philadelphia. So,
yes.
Tell me about your faith. So this combines a lot of, different experiences, right? So tell me about your faith. And you had begun yesterday's kickoff of Trump Force 47 in Delaware County. You started with a prayer, a very beautiful prayer. What does that mean to you, as far as your faith and why you still have faith that in our nation we can, turn things around and make America great again?
Oh, thank you for asking. My appointment into second lieutenant was into the chaplain's corps. So I was a chaplain candidate. And I was actually the first Black American chaplain candidate in Pennsylvania. So that took me into Lutheran Theological Seminary on Germantown Avenue. And I spent a number of years there. Myself and my children, we lived there for a little while. They were very nice. They're just wonderful, wonderful people. And at the time, also in 2007, I went into the Philadelphia Police Academy because I was assigned, as you said, to the National Guard. And I had a number of soldiers who were police officers. And so they said to me, well, LT, have you ever thought about becoming a police officer? And I said, well, no, not really. And they said, well, why don't you put an application in? I said, okay. And they poured an application in for me, and I submitted an application. And then the next thing you know, I'm in the police academy. And I became a Philadelphia police officer 2007. I graduated from the academy in 2008, and I think I was 37 years old at the time. And that became the second uniform. But to go back to your question in terms of faith, it has been a tremendous experience for me as an American, as a Black American, to know that where we are, where we have been, and what has continually been instilled in this country. And it's because of the work of all of our ancestors. I always tell people, it doesn't matter whether you're white, it doesn't matter. If you live in this country today, you have more than your ancestors had, period. You have more money, you have more food, you have more clothing, you have more of everything than they had. And that is the bottom line. So for me, that is something that I depend on. And I know that I can continue to have faith and continue to pray and just continue to have the confidence that we as Americans, we have done it before and we can do it again, and we will.
So a couple of things, you've said that you also have worked with, differently abled children. That's one of your specialties. And at one point you had said that one of the kids asked you, well, what, Ms. Wooden, what are your pronouns?
Yes, Dr. Goodwin, what are your pronouns? I said spell pronoun. Yes, I'm very clear. Yes, spell pronoun. I'm very clear about that. We're not. No, I don't play those games with education and with the education of our children. If they want to ask me a personal question, then a personal question to me is, Dr. Goodwin, do you have children? How old are your children?
Yeah,
I don't see it as necessary as it isn't essential.
Right. And I love that you
just isn't.
Yeah, and I love that you said spell pronoun, because we have some of the lowest numbers we've seen tragically in decades, with even fourth graders who are not reading at reading level here in Philadelphia. Can I just ask you, why are you a Republican? Why are you running for office?
Oh, thank you for asking. The Army is such a wonderful thing. I became a Republican back in, I'm thinking, first I was thinking 2012, but it was before that. This was the Tea Party days.
Mm-hmm.
We were having an event, and one of the soldiers came up to me, and they said, well, hey, Chaplain, how are you? I said, hi. And they said, well, so you're a chaplain? I was like, yeah. You're a police officer? Yeah. And they said, so that's what you do? I said, yeah. And they said, well, what else do you do? And I said, about what? And they said, well, what else do you do? That's it. I go to work.
Right.
I come here. I am a provider and a protector and an educator. I love my family. And I'm a lifelong student, and I go to church, and that's it. And then the soldier said, well, you're a conservative? And I said, well, I guess I'm conservative. Like, I had never thought about it,
mm-hmm.
ever. It just never occurred to me. And I said, well, those are the things that I like doing. I like serving the community. I'm a public servant. I'm a cop. I love spending time with my family. I love being at home. I love I guess. Yeah,
right.
Yes, I am. So I switched parties and became a Republican. It was so interesting. And, once I did that, then I began to do even more research on the Republican Party and the Democratic Party and the history
mm-hmm.
of both parties. And I said, hey, wait a minute. This is nothing new to Black Americans. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Frederick Douglass.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the Republican Party and being against the enslavement of Black Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what the Democratic Party did. Let's talk about Jim Crow and the Democratic legislators who just wanted to make the lives, I know this sounds eerily familiar,
yeah.
make the lives of Americans a living hell. Let's talk about those things. And so the more research I began to do and the more I began to read about it and meet other Republicans, and I said, wow, this is where I am. This is what I identify with.
And so moving forward, I mean, as far as your campaign, and I know that you're as well, you're a Trump supporter, that you were there at, obviously it's Trump Force 47 in media. Right. What do you mm-hmm. want to see from people? Because what I fear, Alfie Goodwin, who's running in the 5th District of Pennsylvania for Congress, and this is a tough race for you. Delco used to be red, it's blue. But what do you ask of people who are listening right now and who don't know how to get involved, or may think, oh, you know what, Trump is ahead in the polls and the coattails will be generous and everybody can just sit back and, watch this unfold?
What I encourage is the same thing that I've done. Do your research, mm-hmm. whether it's Google or DuckDuckGo, whatever you use, do your own research. Find out for yourself. Amber Rose made a very important statement at the RNC convention. Is she did her own research. Find out for yourself, and then make a decision on what aligns with your value system. And what I find is that most Americans want what? Employment, want to be able to get up, get up, go to work, take care of their families, mind their business, come home in peace. That's it. It's not complicated. Yeah. This is what most Americans are asking for. Not for our First Amendment rights to be chipped away with what our pronouns are.
Yeah. What do you think of the last, it's not even a week, but this week's developments, Biden dropping out, Kamala Harris announcing, and within days, I know the Democrats are mobilized. They were, campaigning here in Pennsylvania yesterday, tomorrow morning, all weekend. So when you look at somebody like Vice President Kamala Harris, this administration, what's your take on a Harris presidential run, and what do you think of her as far as her candidacy and her political, career?
Thank you for asking. I think if I were a Biden supporter, I would be outraged. I think if I were someone who voted for President Biden during the primary, I would be outraged right now. Because it's not okay. It isn't okay to have millions of Americans. And we're looking at the economy. We know what's happening. We see what is taking place. And to have millions of Americans dig deep into their pocket thinking that they are giving to their candidate and they're not, it's not okay. It is not okay. However, question two, in terms of her run, this is a little shady. This is the way things are starting off with a campaign. Really? Come on. People your voters are supposed to be able to believe what you say and know that it is the truth.
Well, a woman who speaks the truth, Alfie Goodwin, running for U.S. Congress in Pennsylvania's 5th District. This is Delaware County. Alfie, I hope you come back. I hope we continue the conversation. Just loved and cherished meeting you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Alfie. And we'll have you again as well. But Alfie Goodwin, this is the 5th District. And Alfie is, one of those candidates who's obviously has a job, is a busy mom, all of that, wants to serve and is running right now. It's a tough race. And part of that is that, fundraising, commercials, getting out the word. And so she's just an example of somebody who's said, you know what, I'm going to run. I'm out here. I believe in this, and I believe that it's a critical time in our nation. So November 5th, an important, I think, a game changer, whichever way that we go. But I don't want anybody to start saying, well, either my vote doesn't matter, or, oh, you know what, everything's going to be fine. Look at the poll. Don't listen to any of that. And I think it's important to be involved, to get involved. And that's why I keep doing all of these interviews to talk about how you can get involved. So I'll give you more information around the corner on that one, as well as all the developments. So we'll do an update at the top of the hour. This is The Dawn Show. I'm Dawn Stensland, 855-839-1210, at Dawn Stensland. On social media, be right back.
Talk Radio 1210's Huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. is moving to Thursday, September 12th. Join Dom Giordano as he talks to Donald Trump Jr. about all things Trump. Just 2 days after the planned presidential debate. The new date, Thursday, September 12th at Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Your tickets include a copy of Letters to Trump by former President Trump. A cash bar will be available. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com. That's 1210WPHT.com.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. Did you know we are having a full one-day event on August 17th? It's called the Money Hacks event. You want to come to this event and you will learn how to become your own bank, how to invest in real estate without any money. You will learn the stock market, and you will learn how to build credit for cash-flowing assets, and so much more. It's a full day packed with information. Use the code 1210, that's 1210, to get a 50% discount on the ticket. Go to 4mmw.com, that's 4mmw.com, and register today.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process process ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement, confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Have you recently had an HVAC tech at your home to fix your unit and he wanted to sell you all types of upgrades? Look, if your AC unit is acting unruly this summer and needs to be fixed, we'll send out one of our technicians to do one thing: fix your AC. And if we do think you need a new one, we'll have one of our factory-trained install teams put in a new state-of-the-art train cooling system to keep you cool. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinecans.com.
Costco pricing for everyone. Get the power of the 2024 Wrangler 4xE and save up to $14,000 off MSRP at Tri-County Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are offering great deals on all in-stock vehicles. Go to TriCountyCDJR.com to see our great inventory. We're easy to find off the Limerick exit of 422. Visit TriCountyCDJR.com today for more details and experience the Tri-County difference.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Developing right now in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. This is where we know that former President Donald J. Trump will be sitting down with and meeting in this formal meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So we'll watch for those highlights. Highlights compared to the lowlights and the lowlifes, or the useful idiots, as Netanyahu called them. This week, what a disgrace, as I've said, on Capitol Hill, with the way people acted, not just the protesters outside who are the useful idiots, but what about the useful idiots who just blew off a major address by a critical ally in a critical part of the world, talking about the Middle East and the fact that Israel, big time and long time ally, right? And the fact that they would just blow off this individual only because, not just, you know full well, this is not because of their personal views or, no, this is because of the upcoming November 5th election. And so they want to play to both sides. That's what the Democrats want to do. They want to make sure that they don't anger anybody who's pro-Palestinian. That's just what this is. And that includes those useful idiots, I'll use Netanyahu's terms, but those useful idiots who are privileged college students. We saw them on college campuses across the country. They have no clue about what's really going on. They don't even know what they were protesting about. But they're going to vote D because they say, because they're anti-Jewish, they're anti-Israel. So we have that going on and unfolding. We'll watch that very carefully. Locally, we have law enforcement officials here in Philadelphia, and they are making a major announcement as far as busting up some of these retail theft rings and aggressively going after them. So even though we've talked about the fact that on paper they're saying that violent crime, especially murder numbers, have gone down this year, thank God, after reaching, new heights, if you will, as far as the violence and the level of violence that we've seen. But in this one, nationally as well as locally, the crime that has continued to spike is talking about these retail thefts, shoplifting especially. But what we're learning about, and this is across the country. I told you, and I was the first one to break the story, if you recall, and this was more than a year ago, when I had talked about the fact that here locally, we have these retail theft rings that are fueled by the cartels. What's that, Henry? I didn't hear you, so I apologize. They're trying to talk to me and tell me something. What's that?
The press conference is happening now, if you wanted to tune in a little bit.
Yes, so we have the live news conference, NBC 10. So let's dip into this, because I know that we have some police officials who are speaking out now. Let's just take a little bit.
As we move forward, in coordination with the District Attorney's Office, this strategy is attacking prolific offenders. It's attacking prolific locations. And you're going to hear about today groups that are working in an organized fashion to commit these crimes. So in doing so, this year, I just wanted to mention, before I turn it over to First Assistant Listenby, our arrests are up 81%. It's about 800 arrests this year, and we're at the halfway point. So we believe our strategy is moving in the right direction, and what you're going to hear about today is another case where the effects of that are happening. So I'll turn it over to First Assistant Bob Listenby.
Thank you very much, Deputy Commissioner. Again, my name is Bob Listenby. I'm First Assistant District Attorney. I'm here on behalf of District Attorney Larry Krasner. About a year ago, City Council provided funding to the District Attorney's Office so that we could establish an organized retail theft and house theft task force. That task force was tasked with working cooperatively with the Philadelphia Police Department and other entities throughout the city, including businesses, to try and see if we could find those prolific offenders and see if we could bring them to justice. The person in charge of that task force is Ms. Kimberly Essick, who is...
Okay, so they're still doing some introductions. So we'll monitor this, and when they give us some tangible numbers and details, we will bring that to you. But always want to cover the local news as far as what's happening, because this has a tremendous impact in our region on, especially, I know so many of you, store owners, shop owners, who left amid the pandemic, for other reasons, but as well, even those who stuck it out because of the shoplifting, because of this retail theft spike, we're up 30%. That's the report in Philadelphia, more than 30% in retail theft. So what I doubt they're going to say, although I hope they do, is something that I've reported to you, and that is that we know that the cartels, as well as illegal individuals who've come here into this country illegally. What did they call it? The tourism criminals? Because tourism criminals, what a joke. But those individuals who've crossed over and they're working with then local thieves and thugs, or supersizing that situation, if you will. And then what they do is, and I've talked about, remember the recent one at King of Prussia, because they've gotten violent, where King of Prussia Mall, some of these high-end stores, especially designer pocketbook stores, that sort of thing, they will actually have security guards at the door and only let a certain number of people inside the store at a time, because it's a smaller store, it's not a department store anyway, but they will say, we're only going to allow this amount of people in at a time with guards at the doors. And remember, fairly recently, a group of female thieves they pepper sprayed those security guards, and they were trying to track them down. But in this, the thing you're not going to hear is whether or not there's a connection to the fact that we have a crisis at our border. That's not a border. It's a crisis at the southern crosswalk, not to mention the northern one, but really at the southern crosswalk. And so part of this is fueled by the cartels, who, again, they're not acting alone. Now the cartels are working with the current criminals, current gangs. So just terrific. Oh, that's all we need, right? And not just people let out of prisons in South America that we've talked about, but as well individuals who, remember, in parts of the world where, because of the world economy post-pandemic, you have extremely suppressed, oppressed countries where people are activated. I've talked a lot about this. And there is now evidence from intelligence, from law enforcement, who say, you know what, we have individuals who, yes, they are being sent here via terrorist organizations working through the cartels to come here. And so they're doing double duty, if you will. So now you have this combo deal of people from terrorist countries coming from all over the world, coming through with the cartels. That is the pathway in, because the cartels get them in. And then they're working, yes, in part with these retail theft rings. But there's another layer to this, and many more layers to us. And that's important to think about, that these individuals now, they're getting to know the lay of the land. They're with other criminals who are interested in perhaps drugs, interested in the retail theft, but as well, they're part of a terrorist organization. So isn't that just terrific? We got that going for us, which is nice. It's incredible. They won't talk about that as far as the illegal element, ICE being involved. You won't hear that because, of course, we're a sanctuary city. So these law enforcement officers, these good people, hardworking people, they're not allowed. Did you know that? They're not allowed to give out that information. So when I report to you that somebody is here illegally and they've been arrested, there was just another I put out on social media. Another guy came here, presumably from a prison somewhere in South America, is now charged with murder in, I believe it's Virginia. There's another one. It's every day you hear about this. But in our situation in Philadelphia, it's important to note that we don't give you those numbers because they don't document how many of these individuals who are arrested or suspected are not a United States citizen. That should be a law. I believe it should be a federal law. They're not going to do it in states like Pennsylvania. Why not make it a federal law that when somebody is arrested, it goes right on the public report, because we all get it. I can look up all the reports. It should be stated along with that person's information whether or not they are a United States citizen or what is their citizen status. That should be on every criminal arrest report. but it's not, and you know why. That would be critical, wouldn't it? Because then we could look, Chester County, just look at their crime blotter. I look at all these crime blotters because I'm a news nerd. Look at their crime blotter. Tell me what you see. But they are a sanctuary in Chester County. So they're not going to tell you who among these, and they're retail theft, but they're also, they're violent, usually stabbings. Look it up. Chester County, the crime blotter there. Look it up in our region. But so law enforcement, when they tell me the information that, oh yeah, that this one is here illegally, that's not a United States citizen, they're not, so they could get in trouble for telling me that. Okay. But this is, so I know Philadelphia Police Deputy Commissioner Frank Van Noor, he's been speaking out. Inspector Ray Evers, First Assistant District Attorney Robert Listenby. They're expected to speak, and they are speaking now. We'll glean all of the important details for you, but understand that this level of retail theft, of the shoplifting, and then they go back and they sell it out on the streets. So they need another task force to go ahead and break up people who are reselling these items, some of them designer items, some of them household items. By the way, have you bought something like maybe a lawnmower or maybe a weed whacker, that sort of thing? If you go into any of the big box stores right now, they have actually hired specialists who are instructed to escort you. So let's say you have an item that you could, just roll out of the building, and then they're not going to prosecute. They're not allowed to. So what they have is they have had to hire an extra person so that when somebody's looking at a lawnmower and they start rolling it maybe toward the register, this person will escort you to help you with that sale. They're not getting a commission. This is not about a sales commission, if that's what people think. This is about the fact that they have, and I had a relative, and I won't name the store, but this was a military veteran, because military veterans work at a lot of these different, whether it's a local hardware store or whether it's one of the big box stores, they do hire a lot of military veteran. So a family member of mine was telling me how, he was striking up a conversation and says to the military member, says, yeah, I served here, and they strike up the conversation. And so it was my husband, Larry. I'm just going to tell you. So then Larry says, well, is this a new position? That they said, well, because people just walk out of the store and then we're not allowed to photograph them because of their rights. We're not, and this is the suburbs, not just Philadelphia. We're not allowed to photograph them. We're not allowed to confront them. We're not even allowed to, we're not really just even supposed to take a picture of the vehicle that they get away in. And the military member said to Larry, can you imagine? I have fought for our country, and I come back, and this is now a job, but I guess they're well-paying jobs because they want some people who have military experience, are strong-looking men, have some gravitas to them, which I think military men and women have, right? You stand a certain way, you have a certain look, and maybe people, if you're escorting them up to the register, might be less likely to roll that lawnmower out or seal that item.
So this may actually be a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, because try to get service or anybody to help you in any of these stores, and it's next to impossible. So this may actually be a good thing.
So that's a good idea. So if you can't find anybody although I've never had that problem. I will tell you, they're always. But if you have that issue, maybe just go over to the lawnmower department and just start rolling it toward the doorway. And then one of these probably somebody who's a military veteran who's hired to do one of these jobs, and they'll say, how can I help you, sir? Can I assist you? Right? And then you get because they're supposed to escort them, but they're not commissioned salespeople, if you can imagine that. You like that, Jimmy?
I like that, yeah.
You don't get the help.
Yeah.
All right.
You never get the help in these stores because you just walk around and trying to get anybody to wait on you in some of these big box stores is next to impossible. So I guess the only way to get rated on is if you try to steal something. Is that the way that this is going here? Or, it's like if I go to a music store, it's like, okay, if I play the May I Help You riff at this point.
Well, to your point, maybe part of this is that they've had to, maybe reallocate their own resources in their stores. So they have people who stock the shelves and people at the registers. And then on top of it, instead of somebody who's just available to help you, they've had to reallocate some resources, pay some people some more money, and they had to specially train them. By the way, you have to go through a week of like sensitivity training, because it's all about that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So these individuals have to be, sensitivity trained. They have to know what to do, what to say. And even if they're escorting them toward the register and that person just takes off and steals the item, they are told, do not chase after that person. Do not even take your phone. Do not engage. Do not take your phone and record the evidence of a theft.
It's just unbelievable. We have gotten to this point in society where people could just walk into a store and just grab a bunch of items and walk out and nothing happens. I mean, I would love to walk into Guitar Center, grab a bunch of drum parts and walk out with it, but I know that's not going to happen in my case. Somebody's going to stop me right there at the door, and they're going to have somebody else running the show on Monday because I'll be locked up in jail somewhere.
Yeah.
And just trying to get anything in a store at this point, even batteries. Try getting batteries at any of these stores, and you got to wait for somebody to come up with the key.
Everything's locked up.
Everything's
Walmart
locked.
the same.
Everything.
Yeah, and that's another point. So for the vast majority of us who are just living our lives and we're honest, hardworking people, we pay. And by the way, do you think that any of these stores absorb any of this theft? So if you think about inflation, which is they'll admit to 20% inflation. Then you think about a 30% hike in retail theft. So just put this all together. They pass all of these costs to you and to me. And the reason they don't prosecute is because, I don't know, it's a bad look. It's too expensive. They don't want to go through the process. Sometimes it just makes my head hurt, but we will look toward, I believe we're going to have at some point, former President Trump will be speaking today. So I don't know if they're going to take the meeting between Trump, or at least the aftermath between Trump and Netanyahu. So we're looking toward that as well. Sometimes I think about an escape. What about this? Tonale, take me away. Yeah, I'm talking about the beautiful, new, sleek 2024 Tonale from Alfa Romeo of Wilmington Pike. Built with the iconic grille, those 5-hole wheels, which are, they're really, you know what they remind me of? I was trying to think of this because I saw a Tonale. I thought, the beginning of Game of Thrones, how it's this cool, this royal look. That's what those Tonale, those interesting 5-hole wheels, the 5 holes on the wheels reminds me of the Game of Thrones opening, if you will. Very royal, very regal. For your convenience, you will find a hands-free power liftgate, a huge 10-inch touchscreen, size does matter, keyless entry, wireless charging pad, brilliant LED adaptive lights, and that power moonroof. I could go on and on about the luxuries, the add-ons. This is just for a limited time, and this is unheard of. A Tonale TI all-wheel drive for just $299 a month, $299 per month for 24 months. Visit Alfa Romeo of Wilmington Pike and Chadds Ford for all the details. Alfa Romeo of Wilmington Pike, Chadds Ford. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hi, it's Nick Kale. The first Wednesday of the month, we shine a spotlight on one outstanding local veteran on our Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation, celebrating their remarkable commitment to community service and their exceptional service in the military. Wednesday, August 7th, we honor Air Force veteran Kathy Christian for her service and contributions to the veteran community. Presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Window Nation presents the 1210 WPHT Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation. Listen the first Wednesday of every month as Kale and Company shines a spotlight on a local veteran, highlighting their remarkable commitment to the community and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. At Window Nation, there's nothing more important than giving back to the communities we serve. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Comedian Joe Conklin.
Joel Embiid is excited.
The process marches on.
Oh, George, welcome to Philadelphia.
Morris, hallelujah.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at Archbishop Wood High School in Warminster, PA, Saturday, September 28th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
The Sixers will prevail.
Oh, baby.
joeconklin.com.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale and Company. I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But the playoffs just ended. Boston Celtics won, and now we get fewer games. But it's okay. Have no fear, because with FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, it keeps the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. During the summer, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg, and make the most out of your summer. You still have baseball. The Phillies are playing well. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Don't forget, FanDuel.com/Greg. 21 and over, present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Even though the media widely called her the border czar, the non-border czar, because we're just supposed to forget that, Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, this is the statement. She slammed the Israeli government for killing far too many civilians in the Gaza Strip, saying, quote, "I will not be silent," despite also pledging unwavering support for the Jewish state's right to exist. And this was after meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So this was last night. This was yesterday. So these are the first remarks that Harris has made. And remember, she had kicked off her presidential hopeful campaign on Sunday, right? But these were her first remarks on the conflict as the presumptive presidential nominee for the Democrats, making this statement last night. We don't have audio of it because apparently she just released a written statement, and you know why, because she doesn't want the visual of that. Saying, quote, "It is time for this war to end." And she's arguing the fight was not a binary issue despite historical American backing for Israel. Quote, "To everyone who's been calling for a ceasefire and to everyone who yearns for peace, I see you and I hear you." That's the statement from Harris shortly after Netanyahu had departed the White House. You know, I hope he just wiped his feet, washed his hands. My gosh, what a nightmare and what an embarrassment. Just a disgrace in our nation. The way that the Israeli prime minister was treated. Ugh, yuck. I'm sure he couldn't wait to get out of there and move on to Mar-a-Lago where he is today. And hopefully the two of them will hold some kind of a joint news conference. I don't know if they will between Netanyahu and Trump, but we'll watch that one. I want to do a flashback and think about Kamala Harris. And there's so many ways I could go here in her career. Let us not forget that she is from far left San Francisco. And she is somebody who, she does not want you to remember the name Kate Steinle. She does not, the poor family. Did you know that fairly recently, just within months, the killer who shot and killed Kate Steinle, do you remember this? This was one of the reasons that Trump won in 2016, because of cases like this. because of people who came to this country illegally, violent criminals from their own country, committed violence here. Kate Steinle was shot, gunned down. Do you remember this? And then that ridiculous, biased, just a jury that was, I don't even know how to explain it, but they said, oh, no. Well, they convicted him of taking a firearm and shooting this beautiful young lady, but they did not convict him of murder. And so do you know that because of time served and everything, do you know that he is set to be released from prison? Did you know this? And so they're releasing him from prison into the custody of ICE, and then ICE will deport him to Mexico. I said to my husband Larry last night, because I was looking up Kate Steinle, and I thought, my God, in some bizarre, horrifying scenario, this guy could be released he could be released from our prison for the gun charges, not murder, of Kate Steinle. Then ICE takes him, deports him, and puts him back in Mexico. And with the open border, he potentially could come back into this country. I can't even imagine that. What a horrifying scenario. But that's the Kate Steinle case. And that was under the watch of Vice President Harris. That happened under her. So understand that she's from the left coast. Understand that she believes in the injustices of the progressive far left movement, which involves defund the police. So believing the police more than an accused killer or thug. That was her whole thing, right? So let's listen to her. This is a flashback for you, and this is a real beauty. And this is Kamala Harris as a senator, and what she said during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. Remember this whole hot mess where they had zero evidence? We're taking an alleged incident that, even if it had been true, even if it had been reported to law enforcement in the state of Maryland involving Kavanaugh, then even if it would have been listed as a juvenile situation and it would have been protected because they were both juveniles, right? So just think about that. But this is Kamala Harris with this persecution of now Justice Kavanaugh. Listen in.
Good morning. I welcome everyone to this confirmation hearing on the nomination of
Mr.
Judge
Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh
Mr. Chairman.
to serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized for a question before we proceed.
Regular order, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to ask a question before we proceed. The committee received just last night, less than 15 hours ago, 42,000 pages of documents that we have not had an opportunity to review or read or analyze.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman,
I
with this
extend
hearing.
a very warm
We
welcome
have not
to
been
Judge
given
Kavanaugh,
an opportunity to have a meaningful
his wife,
hearing on
Ashley.
this nominee.
Their two daughters.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleague,
friends.
Senator Harris. Mr.
They
Chairman,
planned
we
this. Look at this.
received 42,000 documents that we haven't
and
been able
everyone else
to
joining us
review last
today.
night, and we believe this hearing should
I
be
know
postponed.
this is an exciting day for all of you here,
Mr. Chairman.
and you're rightly proud
Mr. Chairman,
of
if we cannot be recognized, I move to adjourn.
The American people.
Mr. Chairman, I move
get
to adjourn.
hear directly from Judge Kavanaugh later this afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
So this is how, this was Kamala Harris. She started this one. And remember how nasty she was. And at the time, and I'll take you back, this was 4 years ago. This was, 4 years ago that, in fact, Trump had spoken out about this, criticizing Senator Kamala Harris, said that she was extraordinarily nasty, not just nasty woman, she was extraordinarily nasty. And that was during those confirmation hearings for Brett Kavanaugh, and let's not forget what happened to Brett Kavanaugh, because that person who threatened the assassination of Brett Kavanaugh is facing the judicial system right now. But Trump at the time, 4 years ago, said she was nasty to a level that was just a horrible thing. The way that she treated now Justice Kavanaugh, I won't forget that soon. That was something that Trump said 4 years ago. This has been going on for years. But this is the tactic. And I'll just take you back to that. When Kamala Harris interrupted the proceedings and they were trying, remember this was Dianne Feinstein, all of them. They were trying to smear this man with zero tangible evidence. It was concocted information. And sometimes I think to myself, we never got to the bottom of whether or not it was Dianne Feinstein's office, because she's now deceased. We never got to the bottom of who leaked that. Who leaked that information? Remember, they said it was leaked, and Kavanaugh's victim wanted nothing to do with this, and then suddenly she's flown in and she testifies and doesn't remember anything. What a farce. And for anybody to fall for that or stand for that, it's a scary thing. 855-839-1210. I got to take a quick break. Your thoughts and more developing stories right around the corner.
Are you dealing with tax debt or unfiled tax returns and don't know how to make the problem go away? Is just the thought of dealing with the IRS giving you a panic attack? Let Legal Tax Defense take the pressure off of you. All tax relief companies are not the same, and all tax problems are complex and different. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS, the experienced tax attorneys and licensed enrolled agents can resolve the toughest cases. For over 15 years, Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating settlements for individuals and businesses just like you. All of their online ratings are A+. Even if you've received a threatening notice from the IRS, facing a wage garnishment, or have had your bank account levied, it's not too late to call Legal Tax Defense for a free, no-risk consultation. Get peace of mind and security knowing you hired the best. Call Legal Tax Defense at 800-962-2403. 800-962-2403. That's 800-962-2403.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love and one that Emmons will redo in as little as 1 day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu meeting in Mar-a-Lago face-to-face for the first time in nearly 4 years. Harvey Weinstein hospitalized with COVID-19 and double pneumonia. And Dylan Cease throws the second no-hitter in San Diego Padres history, striking out 9 Nationals along the way.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more. Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Yo, Roy is Ford. What? We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Yeah, so Philadelphia making arrests in a major retail theft ring. That's one of the big stories happening locally in Philadelphia. But they're not talking about whether or not any of the individuals suspected, arrested in this have anything to do or any connection to some of the cartels. I can tell you from my sources around the region, the entire region, that the answer is yes. And we know based on some of the burglaries, for example, not retail theft, but some of the burglaries that have happened over the past year definitely involved individuals who are suspected of being part of a larger ring, if you will, theft rings, burglary rings, and they are involved with the cartels, highly coordinated, and in fact, they have a national presence. So one of the guys who was here in the suburbs of Pennsylvania, actually then, thankfully, he was cut by some glass in one of the homes where he broke into and then was arrested in California. So a major story as we see retail theft and shoplifting, all of these kinds of thefts, up more than 31% with thousands of these crimes. And if you are a smaller mom and pop type shop, no wonder why we see all these shops closing shop, leaving the city of Philadelphia, either for good or heading out to areas where, you know, they're allowed to prosecute those types of criminals. 855-839-1210, the number to call. So much happening, but let's get to, is this Don in Franconia? Hey, Don.
Good morning, Don.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
Good. Happy Friday.
Well, same to you. Thank you very much. I enjoy your week off next week.
Well, we'll be busy. My son is in the Junior Olympics, qualified again this year, so I'm very proud of him. And he does throws, so things like shot put, discus. And so it's a great American moment. It really is, because all these kids and their parents and grandparents come from across the country, and they've been competing and working hard as dedicated, disciplined athletes. And so gathering, and it's a different point. Last year we were in Iowa. This year it's in North Carolina. And so gathering in these large venues and competing and representing America, and there's a lot of patriotism. It's really a cool event. So thanks for saying that.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
Life
you.
doesn't get much better than that.
That's amen to that. That's so important. That's so true.
I'd like to talk a little bit about our favorite lady, Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
All the hullabaloo about her leading the Democratic ticket, and I just can't see where the words lead and Kamala should ever be used in the same sentence. They just don't go together. It's like oil and water. Also, all the euphoria recently about Kamala is because she is being compared to a crippled Joe Biden, not a healthy Donald Trump. So that will wear off.
Yeah. No, that's true. Well, thank you. I hope you... go ahead.
You know, as she has shirked any responsibilities she was assigned, and plays a part of Casper the Ghost most of the time. So that's pretty much what I want to say.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a blessed Friday, Don. Really appreciate your kind words and all your wisdom. And that's just it, though. You look at TikTok. I saw that Kamala Harris just put out word. She's on TikTok. She's now going out on social media and has, you know, tens of millions of followers and people welcoming her in. And so people who are, I'm not talking about you, who are not well informed. And so that's the real difference. And what I would just say this, when you think of a candidate, what, as far as somebody in a job interview, you say, well, what have you done in your life? What do you consider your greatest success? If you think of Trump as somebody who, look at his success as president, peace and prosperity, look at the numbers, and we've talked about the numbers, and I know you know the numbers, but look at Trump's presidency, particularly when you look at pre-pandemic, look at the job numbers, the economic numbers, all of that. So think about it, and then look at before running for president, as a private citizen, as a businessman, as an international entrepreneur. Look at his success. I mean, somebody who is widely successful as a business person, widely respected, and somebody who's not confused, somebody who's not waiting to get their talking point. So when I talked earlier about the fact that the swamp on the right and the left, the bureaucrats, many of them unelected, right, and career politicians on the elected side, they all loathe Trump, those never Trumpers we've talked about, because he's somebody who came in and, much like a private sector person, he wanted to get things done. And so he looked at this through different eyes. And you might say, well, Dawn, why did he have to talk so much about it? Why did he have to, you know, when he got the money from the Pentagon and he started looking at budgets, that's when I think they must have just lost their minds, because that's what you do when you're in business and you run a company. So remember when politics shut down his border wall, what did he do? He talked about it at one of his recent rallies. What did he do? He looked at the budgets and then he said, oh, well, this is a matter of national security. Let's look through this Pentagon budget. Oh, look at that. Here's some money that I can take in the name of national security. See, when he started to go through those longtime bureaucrats who have a lot of power, but they're not elected officials, and he started looking at their budgets and realized that he could tap into that money in the name of national security, you can imagine they were losing their minds. And then, think about this, just putting it all together. It's not too difficult to do. A child could do it. Then where did the whistleblower come from? It was Vindman. What branch did he work? So somebody got Vindman, who's, yes, a Democrat, but as well, somebody who is a yes man, was a yes man for the deep state, for the swampers. Well, we got to say that phone call. That was not appropriate. We got to talk about that. You got to be a whistleblower. You got to talk about this. You got to testify. And then, when you want to run and launch your campaigns, we'll make sure that you're taken care of and we make sure that you're well funded. That's what I see. That's my opinion. Maybe you disagree. 855-839-1210. Where is Trump today? Former President Donald J. Trump meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago today. As I've said, he announced it on Truth Social. And this is the first meeting between Trump and Netanyahu, Bibi as he calls him, since, yes, they did have that fallout after the 2020 elections. So it's the first time since, remember, Netanyahu had congratulated Biden, which, I'll say this. Netanyahu had congratulated Biden, and Trump then snapped back at that as a human being to say, wow, really, I was the most loyal president to you ever, and this is the thanks I get. But the truth is, Netanyahu was doing what is expected of his office. Trump knows that, obviously. Netanyahu always, every world leader will congratulate, especially the most powerful position in the world, the president of the United States. And so Netanyahu, yes, congratulated Biden as he congratulates everybody in that office. And so Trump was miffed about it. Okay, he was. Obviously, he's gotten over it. He's spoken highly of Netanyahu. And just remember that Trump had done something that nobody thought he could get done. Remember, they had just gotten through and pushed through those Abraham Accords. And I submit to you that we don't talk about the Abraham Accords enough, that's really what October 7th is about. Because as they were about to go into effect, there are powerful individuals, Iran, who didn't want that to happen and want the divisiveness, they don't want peace in the Middle East. And so that's what happened here. That's what happened October 7th. It was not just this rogue group. We know who backs them, right? And that's the big picture that we don't talk enough about. As the last time Netanyahu and Trump met face to face, that was at the White House, September of 2020. And that was to sign a big ceremony. Remember this? The Abraham Accords, which Trump is proud to have brokered. A very big deal. Nobody in the media is going to talk about that. Nobody in the media even really gives the proper coverage of October 7th, the fact that we still have hostages being held since October 7th. Oh, my goodness. It's just unthinkable that this is happening, and a disgrace that anybody would give any credence to terrorists who carry that out. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano with a big update on our huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. We had to move the date to Thursday, September 12th. We'll talk the election, all things Trump, 2 days after the next scheduled presidential debate. Think about that. Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr., now September 12th, Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. All the ticket details and everything else at 1210WPHT.com. Be there September 12th.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
You can host the best backyard barbecue. You find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello, let's talk premium. These are top-of-the-line appliances that dream kitchens are made of. If you're planning an investment like this in your home, where you buy is as important as what you buy. At National Appliance Warehouse, we're committed to delivering the superior buying experience you deserve. Our showroom features beautifully displayed premium appliances of every major brand, including highly sought-after Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove. Our team of gurus is well-versed at guiding you as you navigate the same appliances you'd find in the most magnificent homes and kitchens of cooking enthusiasts. And the National Appliance Warehouse team has the expertise to properly deliver and install your stunning new appliances.
Celebrate Christmas in July at National Appliance Warehouse. Purchase a qualifying Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliance package and choose 3 years of additional warranty or rebate up to $2,500. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit the showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
You can still look great in that bathing suit this summer since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. Within a week of starting, you will notice pounds coming off and you'll feel good too since you are doing it the natural way, quickly and safely. You can still get slimmer this summer and without any shots. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com to lose the weight for good.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
This is Jordan Lundy.
And this is Len Lundy. Lundy Law has won billions for our clients.
But more importantly, we've won the trust and confidence of thousands of people injured in motor vehicle crashes, slip and fall accidents, and work-related injuries.
My son and I hope we never meet you because of an accident. But if we do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com for a free consultation.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hey, Cherry Hill. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker, play 1210 WPHT.
You know, all the polls are saying now because of Kamala Harris announcing, energizing the Democrats, that it's a toss-up between Trump and Kamala Harris. So with all the events, and thank you again to all of you, Trump Force 47, I was at last night's, the debut, if you will, of the media office. the one in Montgomery County a few weeks ago with my friend Kathy Barnett. And then what was the other one? It was Chester County. I mean, just some great events, and it's a lot of fun, get involved. And if look, and I say this honestly, I want everybody involved in an election, volunteering in an election that's fair, that's transparent, that just brings together people to say, you know what, something we as Americans can agree upon is to say we want elections that are true, that are transparent, that are honest. And the more people we have, eyes and ears, right, on election day watching, the more witnesses, the more we can ensure that. And I believe in that. We'll talk about that more. But there was an important phone call that was released, and this has gone viral. And I just want you to imagine if, when Trump announced his VP pick, would this have been hailed and loved by the gushing liberal media? So listen into this little phone call.
Together. Oh, it's good to hear you both. I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me. I am looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both. And getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
Oh, they're going to have some fun with this. So lovey-dovey. I don't know if they'll share some bracelets. Remember Biden and Obama when they shared the friendship bracelets? But a lot of love. Barack and Michelle, oh, you're both together, as if, like she didn't know. But they're both together. They're all endorsing. All the Democrats have lined up, and now they say they have more than 100,000 volunteers this weekend. They're doing canvassing. They are reshaping their campaign, and it's a whole new day. So I would just say you can never take this for granted. Obviously, I don't think the Trump team is, and especially going to these events in person. But earlier this morning, there was a comment of, we can, Trump's ahead and we can all rest assured. No. There's no rest. I think as we've lived through this before and we've seen what happens, and it's so important for everybody on both sides, citizens, regular citizens, to come together and volunteer and have these grassroots campaigns rather than this feeling that this is being orchestrated by the puppeteers, if you will. But that little 55-second ad, and you'll see it everywhere now, and the mainstream media is carrying it everywhere. So just be ready. And something I said last night, as I thank certainly the RNC and the GOP locally here for asking me as their keynote speaker, something I said is, be prepared for the misinformation, for the disinformation, because it's everywhere. So know your facts and know the history and know the context, because you're going to see this is going to be supersized and revved up, especially as we head into the fall. And so it's important to know everything in its context, everything in all the facts, instead of people being manipulated. A lot of good people being manipulated on the left even. And that's not fair. It's not right. But if we, in our moment of truth, can say, well, here's the site. Look it up for yourself. The truth matters, and the truth is evident. I'm Dawn Stensland. Thank you for being here this Friday. I really appreciate you. I hope you have an awesome Friday and a great weekend. Dom Giordano is all teed up and ready to go. Hey, Dom. And Dom just walked away. I'm looking at Dom in his studio, so he was just called away. It was kind of a funny moment, Dan. We're all laughing about this. Yeah, horrible timing. Dom was just called out of his studio, probably because he has some great exclusive. He's working on the Dom show. It's going to be an awesome one.